Red the button means we're live, a casual take with your boy Stephen Pepper, here to even take off my chest. Sorry for the little late upload. As you can see in my background, I'm in the process of moving. But here we go. The Indiana Fever hosted the Dallas Wings last night on ESPN, and it was supposed to be this big matchup, right? And, the game went down to the wire. It had Paige Beckers, but it wasn't. Okay, there was no Caitlin Clark. So I wasn't as interested. I'm not going to lie, I barely watched. And with Clark now continuing her nearly month-long absence from playing basketball, I came to the realization last night, I miss Caitlin Clark. Man, I do. And I feel like I'm not the only one who feels the same. And I also miss Angel Reese too. Like, you can say what you want, haters of Reese's Puffs, but you can't deny that her personality and the double doubles also makes the league more interesting. But without the two, because of their injuries, keeping up with the W just doesn't really hit the same. Like, it doesn't feel as relevant, and that's not good for the W. Like, think about it for a second. Outside of the pay us what you owe us shirts and freaking dildo gate, can you think of a major storyline in the W right now? You can't, because there isn't one. And that's not good for the W, because that pales in comparison to how red hot the league was this time last year, where you couldn't escape it. Okay, it felt like it was the biggest league of the summer. All the headlines, everyone was talking about Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, rookie season, drama, the beef. It was must-see TV. And clearly that momentum carried in the beginning of the season, where the ratings were still making records, or were still setting records. All their games were getting clipped up on social media for you to watch. But since the two went down, I ain't seeing much other than purple dildos. Okay? I can't believe I said dildos twice. But you get what I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't other great players in this league. Sabrina Ionescu, Brianna Stewart, AJ Wilson. Heck, Paige Beckers, the UConn superstar, played last night. But those guys, or should I say gals, don't draw me to my TV like Clark and Reese. And so I've been finding myself treating the W as of late like I did 3-4 years ago. A professional basketball league that happens in the summer that I just don't pay that much attention to. And that's not good for the W, because last year, at the same time, I was prioritizing watching the W on ESPN, ABC over baseball, a sport that I love, over Netflix, over YouTube, over scrolling on TikTok. But recently, there will be WNBA games on prime time on TV, and I just rather watch my Reds or Game of Thrones. And that's not good for the W. Now, I do think this is a hiccup. Okay, I do believe when Clark and Reese return, hopefully, because my goodness, Clark hasn't played since the 15th of July with this groin injury, and she still hasn't practiced, and Reese hasn't played since the end of July, and she's courting day-to-day to the head coach. But I believe if they come back this season, the WNBA will feel as relevant again. But as we predicted, these two are the league's Magic and Berg. And again, it's not to say that there aren't great players in this league, but let's be honest here. These two drive the stories. They drive the narratives. They drive the interest, the attention in this league. And without them, it's not the same. Now, thankfully, they've risen the interest and the tide of the WNBA high enough to where when they've left, despite there being a dip, it hasn't dipped back in their ratings and interest to where it was about like 5 years ago. According to Clutch Points, ESPN broadcasts are slightly higher at this point than they were last year, and ABC games are up 17%. But if you really look into those ratings, the Fever do most of the carrying, and that's Clark's team. Like, the country is still really only interested in the Fever, despite not having Caitlin Clark there. Like, and that's the only team I'm really watching with Clark and Reese out is the Fever, because I want to see what's happening with Sophia Cunningham and Aaliyah Boston and Natasha Howard and in those guys and gals. I keep saying guys. We used to talking about guy sports, but think about it for a second. When these two and Clark and Reese are playing, you go on Twitter, every other post is a highlight. It's a Reese stat line. It's a Clark stat line. It's a rating celebration. It's a highlight. Them also playing lifts up Sabrina and the others, and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't escape the W. All the talk shows, like the First Takes of the World, are talking about it. But have you been turning on the TV recently? Have you been reading the ESPN top stories recently? Outside of the Tildo Gate and pay us what you owe us, how much WNBA have you been seeing? And right now, it's the dog days of Major League Baseball. College football, it doesn't start for a couple of weeks. The NFL is just now in the preseason. Like last season, this is supposed to be like the time where the WNBA dominates. But without Clark and Reese, it's just not as interesting keeping up. So I found myself watching last night's game, a fever in the wings. And although Paige Becker's in there, and Paige Becker's does look good, by the way, shout out to her as like a player. But it's just not as interesting keeping up. And I feel like without Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, I'm not the only one who feels the same. But let me know what you guys think. I appreciate for you guys tuning in to this episode of A Casual Take. Next time you see me, I'll probably be in a hotel. Or no, I'll be here. I move soon for my new job in the next couple of days. So keep up for a new background location. But until next time, see you.